I'm surrounded by a bunch of assholes. Name that movie.
It's Spaceballs, isn't it?
Hell yeah. Like you had to ask. Everyone knows what that's from.
Greetings, citizens, and welcome to another exciting adventure of the Real Comic Heroes podcast. I'm Travis.
And I'm Patrick. We're doing another trailer / year review of what's coming out, I guess you could say.
Yeah, just another kind of short episode in between movies, and we might do more of these, like every other episode might be something else, so.
Keeps you on your toes.
Right. But it was kind of I don't know, perfect storm or perfect timing when, you know, we planned to do this episode, and then, you know, lo and behold, today they released the final Batman v Superman trailer, so it was just perfect timing. So.
Oh yeah.
And I really had heard that they were going to release it with Deadpool, which releases officially tomorrow. So I was kind of surprised when all of a sudden I'm just happened to glance over at my Twitter feed and someone posted, you know, final Batman v Superman trailers here. So I jumped on it right away thinking, you know, is this, I thought it was going to be a story about them releasing the final trailer with Deadpool. But it was legit. So yeah, now it's all over the interwebs.
Yeah, I thought you were going to be sending me that Turkish airline one.
Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of thinking we could talk about that a little bit. We could do the trailer breakdown later, but
yeah, they kind of played them back to back when I was watching the big game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess it didn't occur to me that you would have seen them as they aired.
Heck yeah.
You know, I didn't watch them until the day after because, you know.
Oh, you're one of those people.
Yeah. I didn't even find out who won the game until like 10 o'clock the next day.
Nice. How was that even possible?
I just didn't. I mean, well, think about it. I don't listen to radio. I listen to podcasts. So my drive into work was just whatever I happened to be playing at the moment. You know, when I got into work, I didn't talk to anybody. Just went to my little hole in the building and with my headphones on, listening to podcasts again all day. And, you know, so I just happened to, like, I think I was on Facebook, you know, mid-morning and happened to see that who won?
Oh, jeez. Denver.
Denver.
Yeah. Well, I
had to think about it.
It was one of the more boring Super Bowls in history, I think.
Was it?
Yeah. It was just all defense and nothing. It was just kind of a snore fest.
Gotcha.
I think some people called it the Super Snore.
Wow.
Or the Super Bore. So, yeah, it wasn't the best Super Bowl, but they did have those two little ads kind of things.
Yeah.
It was weird. I wasn't expecting
a lot of people, right. Well, and that's the thing. Like, a lot of people were, I guess, a little disappointed or surprised that there was no big Batman v Superman, you know, trailer or Super Bowl spot. But I guess Warner Brothers has a reputation, or they have a policy, I guess, about not spending money on Super Bowl spots. And with this, they figured, you know, with this partnership with Turkish Airlines, you know, they didn't have to put up the money to put out a Super Bowl spot. So, you know, they let Turkish Airlines put out the ad, and they get more exposure almost than the actual airline. So it's kind of a win-win for Warner Brothers, you know.
Yeah, I wasn't even sure Turkish Air was a real thing.
That's what I've heard a couple other people say, that they didn't even know if it was a real airline. They thought it was just a fake thing for the movie. So
That's what I thought. I was like, what the hell is Turkish Airlines?
yeah,
It doesn't sound real. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't fly enough, I guess.
right.
But yeah, it wasn't anything all that great, really.
Yeah, I mean it was okay. I just watched them both once, and it was kind of cool seeing, seeing Bruce Wayne, like, not as in a trailer, where he's Batman. I mean, it was kind of cool just seeing just businessman Bruce Wayne. I like that the other one from Metropolis was featured Lex, because it wouldn't have made sense if And here's a reporter talking about our airline. So I'm glad they went with Lex over using Clark Kent. But
yeah, I mean, it was
just kind of odd.
Yeah. I don't think I liked it because it was like so commercialized and
right. Yeah, you're literally watching a commercial for
it was like
a company,
fake commercial within a real commercial. I don't.
Yeah, it's a little bizarre.
But yeah, I didn't even think about the Batman trailer coming out for Deadpool because I thought Marvel and DC didn't play well.
Well, I mean, they've always kind of used each other's movies to, I think a couple of years ago, it seemed like it was more that way, where they wouldn't advertise movies on each other's on big releases. But now I think both sides know that the same audience that goes to see Deadpool and Avengers and whatever else is the same audience that's going to go see Batman v Superman. So
I wonder.
And it's good.
Sorry, you can
go. The trailers are going to be online the next day anyways, or in this case, the day before. So there's really no point in not distributing those trailers, in front of as many eyes as they can. So
yeah, makes sense. Yeah,
and I mean, it used to be that a February movie, was kind of when you released your stinkers. That's when you get Big Mama's House 3 and...
How dare you? Big Mama's House 3, Mama's back again. And again.
Also, in addition to...
yes. Big Mama Strikes Back.
Yeah. Ooh.
You're welcome.
We haven't seen Martin Lawrence in a while. I think it's time for a Big Mama's reunion.
Well, they need a... I thought I heard about another Bad Boys movie.
Oh, really?
With Will Smith.
I guess I wouldn't be surprised.
Because both 1 and 2 did pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know. I mean, Will Smith is doing Suicide Squad, so...
Yeah.
It's not like he's taking on Oscar roles at the moment.
Well, I guess that concussion that he just was in didn't... I think that was like his big push for Oscar.
Oh, yeah.
Oscar Gold, but I don't think it did anything, so.
Yeah, it sounds depressing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm good. I watch the news every night.
Right.
It's got my quota of depression. But I think that's why people like all these like comic book movies. It's kind of an extra release from normality and craziness.
Right.
Which I think that's what movies really tend to be, is sort of a way to get away from things.
Yeah, it's a good distraction.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was saying about, that's why I was talking about Big Mama's House, is that, like I said, it used to be that you'd put out your movies that weren't going to make much money in February, but now, like last year with Kingsman, it was released in February, and it did, like, opening weekend did $36 million. And so this one, they're projecting like easily 60 something million for Deadpool's opening weekend is what they're anticipating. So it's kind of proving that you can release a comic book movie basically any time of the year and people will go. So it's kind of nice that you can now spread out all these movies, so it's not, you don't have to cram them all into May through June or July, you know.
Yeah, my even my wife wants to see Deadpool.
Oh, that's good.
But,
I mean,
Ryan Reynolds.
like,
and I'm
yeah,
like, well,
yeah.
he looks like a scrotum for most of the movie, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then he's covered up.
Yeah.
She
Well,
said,
same with my wife. You know, she's looking forward to it. So.
I think she thought it was funny looking too.
Oh yeah, I mean,
it wasn't just because
humor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely looks funny. So, and I've heard nothing but good things, and they've already greenlit the sequel, and it's apparently being written, and so it's.
Well,
I'm really looking forward to it.
It seems to be the case. It's like the sequel gets lit before it even gets released. What was I going to say now? She said that there was a rumor that there'd be some full frontal action on Ryan Reynolds. And I was like, the true reason comes out.
Right. If I had to guess, they're going to probably do it once he's like already a burn victim, basically.
That's what I said.
So yeah, it's probably going to be played as a gross out joke where he's like, you know, disfigured and all gross looking.
It's going to be like the boobs in Something About Mary.
Oh God. Yeah.
Where he's peeping through and he gets the wrong window and he's like, "Ooh, found a chink in the armor."
Oh. Oh wow. I haven't thought about that movie in a long time.
Yeah, so I figured it was going to be something like that where it's like all disformed.
Probably.
Bizarre looking.
Needless to say that it's looking like a good movie. I'm looking forward to it. I think we're going to go see it tomorrow, opening day. So and actually, it must have released overseas already. I was checking my Twitter feed and I saw that our buddy Rory from Hangover Reviews posted a spoiler-free review on his, YouTube channel. So he must have seen it already. So maybe that released, or maybe he went to an early screening. I don't know. So.
Well, he lives in the future, as we discussed.
That's true. Yeah, he's ahead of us. So.
Yeah. Although 5 hours shouldn't have given us this much time to get a review up already.
Yeah.
Damn, he's quick.
I know.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have those like special early reviews that.
And that could be what it was. Maybe he got to go to an early screening. I've been to some of those. Oh, well, hell, we went to one for Pacific Rim when it first came out.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
God, I love that freaking movie, but
I do.
It doesn't seem like that many people liked it.
I know. I loved it. And for me, that was one of those that I had no expectations going into it because, honestly, I just ignored it. Originally, I thought it was just a war movie set in the Pacific Rim, like World War II era, so I thought, I'll get around to seeing it, whatever. And then I started hearing no, it's Guillermo del Toro's, monster movie. And I was like, okay, but didn't seek out anything promotional material wise. So I basically went into it completely blind and ended up loving it. So
yeah, I mean, I think I heard about it on Nerdist when he was getting interviewed.
Yeah.
And he mentioned that a lot of it was practical effects instead of computer generated. So I was kind of interested because of that. Yeah. And I thought it looked awesome. And what's his face? Charlie Day? Is that who that is?
Yeah. Yeah.
He was good comic relief in that movie, I thought.
Right. Yeah, him and the other guy were good paired up with each other.
So yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I was expecting more people to like that one, but
I know. I think they've been hemming and hawing about a sequel, and it sounds like it's officially dead, but it's one of those that keeps coming back. A sequel's been greenlit, or it's been killed off, or whatever. So it's one of those. It's up in the air as far as if we'll get more of it. But
if we can have 3 Sharknadoes,
right? Yeah. Well, anyways.
Yeah. Where the hell are we?
Yeah. Let's see. You want to talk about Batman v Superman?
You know what? How about we save that for the end, and we can just we can talk about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 2.
Oh yeah. No, I completely forgot about that. I'm glad you brought us back to that.
Yeah, it was a pretty good trailer. I liked it a lot.
I know, especially like, it's, again, I wasn't expecting anything, with it being, well, for one, it being a Super Bowl spot, it's only going to be 30 seconds long. I figured we'd just get a slightly different version of what we already got on that trailer that we talked about a couple weeks ago, or last week. But then I see the freaking robot, and you know what that means, and then they tease the Krang eyeball. I mean, I was, I gotta say, like, this is one of the movies that I'm really looking forward to now.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's gonna be, it's still gonna have Megan Fox and Arnett, but I'm hoping they're not as big of a part as they were in the first one. Exactly.
Yeah, you give us more Casey Jones and Bebop and Rocksteady, and more Turtles and Turtle Van and Shredder and, and Krang. That hopefully there's just no room for much Megan Fox and
they just have a cameo.
But no, it's weird because when I watched all of I think there were like 4 comic book based Super Bowl spots. Like, I think the Ninja Turtles stuff was, I think, the most exciting for me. I mean, because the other ones were Captain America, and that stuff looked cool, but it was essentially just showing both sides, really just showing the lineup, And that's kind of something I've seen already in promotional art, or, in some form or another, they've kind of shown that stuff already. Although I will say the shot of Tony Stark putting on the glove and like stopping the bullet.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was badass. Oh. But aside from that, I mean, what was the other spot? I think there was one for Deadpool, one for Captain America.
Apocalypse, X-Men.
Oh, yeah. That one was cool because you got to see Psylocke at the very end of it. That was pretty exciting.
And I'm a big fan of the new X-Men, like, reboot or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of wondering how this one's going to go. There's a lot going on, it seems like.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I've like that 90s era X-Men is what got me into X-Men, that cartoon. So we got a lot of Apocalypse, in that, and a lot of some of the other characters that we're getting in here,
Where's Jubilee?
Jubilee's always like been a background character in most of these. Like, she's always been one of the students, but she's never gotten any real action, aside from just being in a classroom.
Yeah, because she's huge in the cartoon. Like, she's
now that I think about it, they did cast Jubilee in Apocalypse, and so I'm assuming that she's going to have more of a substantial part. They haven't shown her, obviously, in any of the teasers or trailers, but
hopefully her
and it may not be a
power
big part,
isn't as sparkly as it was in the cartoon.
I know, yeah.
I was like, is she shooting confetti? What? Very confused.
Snakes and sparklers is what I like.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Let's see, what else do we have for...
Oh, I was going to say, for the Civil War...
Yeah.
I'm sure this has already been on there, but I just noticed it in this Super Bowl ad. At the end, it's Team Cap versus Team Iron Man, and I immediately thought of Twilight.
I did too. That honestly, I thought the same thing, and that seems like the Twilight is what started the whole team. Was it Team Jacob versus Team Edward?
Yeah.
And that's definitely I think that's just part of the culture now.
Disappointing. Damn you, Twilight.
Yeah.
Freaking vampires and werewolves ruin everything.
I know.
Especially sparkly ones. Yeah, I think that's all the trailers from the Super Bowl, really.
Yeah, it was basically those four are, let me think. Yeah, Deadpool, Captain America, X-Men, and then Ninja Turtles. And then there was also like Bourne Identity is getting kind of rebooted, but I didn't watch it. I like the other ones, but I didn't see the last one with Jeremy Renner.
Yeah. Well, it's back to Matt Damon. He's a older, more aware Jason Bourne, I guess.
I think so, yeah.
But yeah, there wasn't a whole lot. It was a couple of sporadic action scenes and some close-ups on Damon. But you didn't get a whole lot of what the movie was about. I mean, it could have been any of the Bourne Identity movies.
Probably just recut old footage.
Probably. They just did like some aging on footage to make him look like he does today. He's like in the park learning that he knows kung fu like Neo.
Yeah.
That always weirded me out. Like he started just doing like all these moves out of nowhere.
Right.
And it always made me think of...
like
I guess it's muscle memory.
Yeah, exactly.
But it always made me think of Neo from The Matrix when he's like, oh, I know kung fu. Because he was all surprised that he knew how to do all this stuff all of a sudden. So, I don't know. That was the weird part of that, but I guess they tried to chalk it up to muscle memory.
Right.
Which is a lot of muscle memory to do all that.
Yeah, to know all the moves.
Because it wasn't a short fight. It was a fairly in-depth battle between a couple of guys, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. But, it was awesome to watch.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised that we didn't get a Suicide Squad Super Bowl spot, but again, I guess Warner Brothers doesn't spend money on Super Bowl, so I guess I've already answered that question.
I've heard some like parent groups like bitching about Harley Quinn.
Oh, okay. So they probably didn't want to advertise, especially with that. So
yeah, maybe.
I guess that would make sense too.
They're saying like she's a bad role model. Like, well, no shit.
Yeah, they're all criminals and murderers, and I mean,
like, so what? The Joker can be a total psychopath, and you're okay with that, but if it's a girl that's in that job, then you gotta.
Right.
I don't know. That was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a bunch of people out there, so not surprised.
Yeah.
Do you want to get into the main trailer of the new release of the B versus S?
Right, real quick before since we've already kind of talked about the other 4 movies that are coming out this year, I just wanted to touch on real quick on Doctor Strange, which again, like, it would have been nice to see a little Super Bowl teaser for that, but I'm guessing we're getting something with Captain America when it gets released. But I'm really looking forward to Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering how that's going to be.
I don't know. I think right off the bat, I'll say I've never been the biggest Doctor Strange fan. He's always been like a background character, for me. So I don't have like a long history with the character. So for me, they don't have to stay incredibly like true to the character. But I do think Benedict Cumberbatch is, I think is an ideal choice for that character.
I'm just stuck with him as Sherlock.
Yeah, and I think that I don't think that's a bad thing.
Nah. Yeah, I don't really know the character that well because honestly, I was confusing him with that dude that has the golden mask. Oh,
Dr. Fate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got my doctors mixed up.
Yeah, and they're both, mixed up in the occult, and they're both sorcerers, so that's an easy. I wouldn't be surprised if they were created around the same time.
Yeah.
I know that Doctor Strange was created like probably in 61 or 62, maybe somewhere around there. But he was Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, who were the same 2 people that created Spider-Man. They both created Doctor Strange. And he was like a surgeon who got in a car wreck and his hands got damaged. So he was, and this was like, you know, in the comics, you know, it's, you can get away with saying he was like a world famous, you know, surgeon.
Yeah.
As if that's a real thing, you know. But like world renowned, you know, surgeon of maybe neurosurgeon, or I don't remember what kind of surgeon.
I think you got those like today. I mean, it's just he's renowned amongst his peers, kind of.
Sure.
I've seen the cartoon, the animated origin story of
right,
Doctor
and I think that yeah, which I think is fairly close to the comic book origin. You know, he's a surgeon who gets in a car wreck and then his hands get damaged, and then he's just seeking out ways to fix his hands, and basically stumbles kind of into it reminds me of the scene in Batman Begins where he goes to the mountains and climbs the highest peak, you know, has to go through kind of some trials to get there. And then when he does, they put him through all kinds of training. So
yeah. He meets Liam Neeson and all that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Again, I think it's one that they can, I think, stay pretty close to the origins. I don't think they have to modernize it or do too much, you know, weird to it. It's going to be weird enough already. It's, you know, they'll be able to do the occult side of the Marvel universe. So, so that one I'm looking forward to. I'm guessing we'll see something with Captain America.
Yeah.
Some kind of first trailer kind of thing. The only other one that's coming out this year that it's kind of weird we haven't heard or seen anything on is Gambit.
Yeah, that's an odd choice, too.
I agree. It's one of those that I want to say the director, they had problems landing a director and keeping one kind of on board. And I want to say at some point Channing Tatum left the role, like very early on. Like he was tied to it and then dropped out and then came back on board. And this was only like last year. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, you know. So and this one comes out in October, and there's been no promotional art. There's been no buzz about it. So maybe tomorrow with Deadpool, maybe there's going to be some kind of sneak preview, or, you know, a little teaser trailer, or maybe even a cameo at the end of Deadpool. Maybe that would feel a little shoehorned in, because I mean, I've read a lot of Deadpool over the years, and Deadpool and Gambit have never been two characters that have teamed up a lot. So it would be a weird mixing of having those two characters on screen together. It's not impossible, but I think that would feel a little too forced.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's supposed to be like Creole, isn't he?
Yeah, he's French Cajun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can't see Channing Tatum pulling that off.
I know. I wonder if they're gonna try and do the thick Creole accent, or they'll probably leave that alone. I'm guessing.
Yeah. The only person I can think of is like Harry Connick Jr.
Yeah.
But he's a little too old to be Gambit.
Yeah. I would have liked seeing Sawyer from Lost. Josh Holloway, but he's probably too old for it now. But I think he would have been a good Gambit.
Mm-hmm.
But Gambit's another one of those characters I've never really cared much about, so they could kind of do whatever they want with it, and I'm not going to be too upset. But it's a little weird that we've not seen or heard anything, you know.
Yeah, I just don't understand the choice in singling out Gambit.
Right.
Because, I mean, there's got to be better characters to go with than Gambit. Doesn't he just
Gambit's always...
I'm not even clear on his power.
What's that?
I'm not even clear on his power. He, like, energizes objects and, like, makes them explode or something. And he just chooses to use a deck of cards.
Yeah, it's, what's it called? He's pyrokinetic, I want to say. He can he can charge objects with energy, and then as long as he, if they sit too long, then they'll explode. So he uses cards as projectiles, and so we'll charge them up and shoot them or throw them. And then he can use his staff. He can charge the end of his staff kind of in a similar way, and use it as a weapon. But just never been he's kind of like the Boba Fett of the X-Men universe. He's just one of those characters that always has a lot of fan love, but I've never really gotten the appeal.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, if you're ready, we can talk about Batman v Superman. And
sure.
Unless you had anything else?
Nah, that's fine. We can go into Batman BVS, whatever you want to call it.
I was calling it Batman v Thugs, Dawn of Punches to the Head.
Nice. A little wordy, but...
A little bit, but I mean, not much.
But
not
pretty accurate.
Much wordier than...
Yeah.
Master Wayne. Thermal imaging is showing me 24 hostiles on the 3rd floor. Why don't I drop you off on the 2nd?
Before we get really officially started, I had brought up that it kind of reminded me of the Dark Knight Returns animated movies that I watched on HBO. There's 2 of them.
Yeah,
and,
part 1, part
in the
2.
second one, in the second part, there's a showdown with him and Batman, and it kind of made me think of this trailer because the suit's involved.
Yeah.
And although in the animated movie, it sort of made the Superman out to be sort of not bad, but sort of just following orders. Not really.
Yeah, he was a government tool, basically.
Yeah, it was weird. I'd never seen him like that before.
Yeah, they basically had outlawed all vigilantes, except for Superman. He was basically the U.S. government's kind of one-man army, essentially, and it was kind of his job to enforce I think it was kind of like a treaty. Like all of the Justice League and all the other heroes had agreed to stand down and put away their capes or their masks or whatever. And it was really Superman's job to kind of enforce that, that decision and be used by the government. I don't remember what the government had on Superman or why he was working for the government, but
yeah, it was just weird to see him in that capacity.
Yeah,
but
and that's kind of where they've taken elements from Superman Return or Batman. Sorry, from Dark Knight Returns. They've taken a lot of elements from that and incorporated them into this new Batman v Superman.
Yeah, because in this, in all the trailers, really, it's made Superman seem like he was sort of dark and hostile.
Yeah, that's probably been my one complaint so far with this, all the marketing and just the way he looks in the movie. It's that Superman does look like a very dark, and somber character. He's doesn't fill you with hope the way that Superman probably should. So they've probably gone a little too dark.
I was saying he's just glowering the whole time, throughout the trailers. It's just he never cracks a smile or
right.
I don't know. It's just there's no Clark Kent really.
Most of this trailer is very Batman centric.
I'm getting slow in my old age, Alfred.
Even you got too old to die young, not for lack of trying.
He has the power to wipe out the entire human race. If we believe there's even a 1% chance that he is our enemy, we have to take it as an absolute certainty.
So we were talking about how Superman was sort of dark in these past trailers.
Yeah.
And I know you hadn't really particularly liked that aspect.
Yeah, I definitely... What's that? Yeah. Definitely would like to see more of a, not bright and cheerful, but, a positive and hopeful, attitude towards Superman. So the first couple of trailers made it seem like most of the country was, suspicious of him, or the government was, wanted him to answer for the fight that took place in Metropolis, and now we've got Batman who hates his guts and wants to kill him, So it's... hopefully by the end of the movie, everyone is on board with Superman, and,
I have a feeling they're going to all team up because of the last trailer with the Doomsday-looking dude showing up.
Yeah, they'll definitely team up. Yeah.
But I got confused by Batman's super strength in this. Did he have a suit on to help? Because he's old.
I think he has enhancements. As far as like in his regular suit, which is what we see in the beginning of the trailer.
Yeah.
And then obviously you see him in the armor later on, which that was taken directly from Dark Knight Returns, which is when he was a very old man and he needed that suit, basically to help him kind of function, and to take down Superman. But as far as like in the beginning of this trailer, when he's just laying waste to thugs left and right, like as far as I know, that's just Ben Affleck in a suit, or Bruce Wayne in a suit without, I don't think he's got the magic knee brace that Christian Bale had in Dark Knight Rises, Maybe he has some of those like little gizmos that kind of help him, give him some kind of edge, but from everything that they've said, he's basically wearing a cloth suit or some type of material, fabric or whatever, closer to the comics, and then probably some kind of padding on his, on his gloves and maybe at his knees and area, certain strategic areas. But
yeah, it just looked like very suspicious. Like he had like some kind of hydraulic system going on in his suit, 'cause he was tossing dudes left and right.
Well, in the thing about this, that all the trailers they've shown us, like, they'll go from one scene of him in the regular costume to another scene of him in the armor. So it constantly cuts back and forth. So he's, it's kind of hard to tell when he's wearing the suit, if that's all towards the end or middle or, what. But I definitely want to talk about the beginning of this trailer when, it starts out, Alfred is kind of, he's controlling essentially the Batwing, or the Batplane. He drops him off at this building, and we get to see Batman, like, you think he's going to come in from the roof or the ceiling. Instead, he comes up from underneath, like, in the middle of the circle of bad guys, and just the scene of him just going from one guy to the next is, in this trailer, is probably the best cinematic Batman fighting that I've ever seen. So I got to say right off the bat, I am really jazzed about seeing a full-length movie where, Batman's just going to be punching dudes left and right. So
yeah, I think I'm more used to the Batman that is more ninja-like, so he's hiding in the shadows, taking out people. So I'm not as used to Berserker Batman.
Right. Well, I think it helps that this isn't a Batman that's wearing a rubber suit where his actions are limited, and like, it made sense, and I don't have a big problem with the suit in the Nolan Batman movies, but it's when you see something like this that you kind of realize how that they can do it without, they can do Batman without having the big rubber suit, and I don't know, this just really works. This is, like I said, probably the closest we've gotten so far to the comic book version of Batman. And yeah, Batman typically is more of a, works in the shadows kind of thing, but I think when he's taking down, a bunch of thugs in kind of in a circle, he doesn't necessarily need to stick to the shadows and do things stealth, go stealth mode, when he can just have that burst of element of surprise and take them all off guard at once,
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a pretty awesome scene to watch. It just threw me off guard because I wasn't expecting it.
Right.
Because, I mean, he was throwing dudes and crushing walls and, like, knocking guys left and right. He was, like, flying over crates and bashing people.
Yeah.
I was like, holy hell.
I can't wait for the full movie, so.
Yeah, it's hard to tell with this movie because I can't tell if some scenes are, like, dream sequences or what. Because I feel like Superman's always surrounded by darkness most of the time and
right,
like smoke coming out from all over the place. So it's kind of hard to tell how they piece this together. If they're piecing it from like a fight with Doomsday, or if Batman's having weird Superman dreams. I don't know.
Well, I think they definitely are doing some type of dream sequence, because whenever you see the brief shots we've seen in the couple trailers of Batman when it looks like he's in the desert, that, from everything I've read and heard on other podcasts, is that's kind of a dream sequence.
It's not time travel.
I don't know if it's time travel or if it's it could be like a glimpse into the future of, if things go bad. And a lot of people are speculating that Darkseid is going to be a big element of the Justice League movie, and that they're going to set that up here in this movie. And so maybe Batman's getting a glimpse of, maybe why they need to work together as a team to prevent, death and destruction from Darkseid. Maybe that's, maybe that's where they're going to go.
I have to sidetrack us now.
Okay.
You just said Doomsday. I've thought of an awesome person, if they were still alive, for casting Mother.
Oh, okay.
The lady from Goonies.
Oh, God, Anne Ramsey?
That would have been awesome.
For
Mother or whatever.
For Granny Goodness?
Granny Goodness, yeah.
Oh, man, that would be great.
Because she's got the face for it.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, not sure if it's a guy or a girl.
Right. That's funny.
That would have been awesome. Anyway, I don't know why that just popped into my head. That was my random weirdness for the day.
Yeah, no, I mean, where else are you going to have that little... Who else are you going to tell that to?
No kidding. I was just like, perfect. It's got to be cold. Okay, so, you were saying it might be a glimpse of the future with that scene, possibly, and
like a possible
could
future.
Be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the whole, past few trailers, I've just been kind of confused as to, when these things are taking place, because everything's so dark.
Right.
The whole trailer seems to be really dark, except for that desert scene.
Yeah, there's a lot of nighttime fight scenes. It seems like most of the time that they're fighting. I mean, and that's typical Batman. You tend to have Batman at nighttime, so that's perfectly in line with everything we should expect. So. And
you see Superman in the daylight, flying through the air and destroying buildings.
Right.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the trailer itself had a lot of other quick cuts, a lot of glimpses of scenes we haven't really seen much of. I'm excited that we've got a little bit of Wonder Woman. We get to finally hear her speak, which a lot of people have been just, when is she going to say anything, or what does she sound like?
I've known a few women like you.
Oh, I don't think you've ever known a woman like me.
she tells Bruce Wayne that, he's never met a woman like her.
Yeah.
And then we get to see, like, kind of it looks like the next shot of her in action, after she stands up with the shield, it looks like she charges in and lets out like a war cry, which it's a awesome, like, it's pure Zack Snyder, his direction style, like the slow-mo 300 style.
Yeah.
But it looks awesome as she's like heading into to battle something, probably Doomsday, but who knows, something else maybe.
Yeah, and it shows off her super speed, I guess, or strength.
Yeah.
To
yeah.
move fast. I don't know how you categorize it, but
right.
Yeah, it was kind of nice to see her actually have a part instead of just jumping in and then Batman saying something stupid and
right.
Like, I thought she was with you.
Yeah. Women.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Is this thing on? Come
right. On.
Oh, that was yeah.
I think
very Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah.
Hickory dickory dock. I won't finish that, but
yeah. I think the only thing I would have liked to see different with this trailer is if they would have split the time evenly between, Batman and Superman, because it's definitely very heavily geared towards Batman. I mean, it opens with, an awesome scene of Alfred working with him as far as controlling the Batplane, and then we get the Batman fight scene, and then just a lot of other shots throughout the trailer of Batman in the armor or, however else. But I would have liked then for the second half of the trailer to be kind of an equal mix of Superman, but the trailer ends with a cool shot of Superman going in to hit Batman, and then that look of like surprise and anger when Batman stops him, stops his punch.
Yeah, I'm assuming there's kryptonite or something.
Yeah, I know in the Dark Knight Returns comic that you were talking about, his suit is powered by kryptonite, or he has some kryptonite with him. It's been a long time since I read it, so
yeah.
There might be an element of Superman being weakened.
It might be like gradual because he pushes Batman in the suit pretty hard.
Yeah.
In one of the scenes.
Right.
So it must be a gradual thing that takes him off guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because all the trailers have been from Batman's point of view, it seems like.
Yeah, and maybe that's because we've had a Man of Steel movie, and maybe they feel like they need to promote the Batman side of it since, they know audiences are probably more likely to want to go see a Batman movie versus wanting to go see a Superman movie. So that might just be a marketing thing, like let's promote the hell out of Batman because that's what's going to drive people to theaters. So
yeah, because I feel like it's been more Lex Luthor in Batman.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially line-wise.
Yeah.
It's almost like it should be called Batman featuring Superman or something instead of versus.
Batman and Lex Luthor with special appearance by Superman.
That's how it seems so far.
Yeah.
Because Lex has all the lines and the Superman side.
And I haven't seen many of the TV spots, but so maybe a lot of those are very Superman centric.
Yeah, I haven't seen that so far. It's been very Lex, talking over the trailer, and it's pretty much what we've seen. It's been very Batman heavy with Lex overtones. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess the only good thing I could say about that is that you don't know what you're gonna get with this movie yet.
Right.
Like they haven't ruined it by showing you all the best stuff, hopefully,
Hopefully not, yeah. I
think I'm just confused as to how this movie's going to be.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm excited for it. I mean, I still don't know like what the story's going to be about, really. So it's kind of interesting in that aspect.
Yeah. What did you think of Man of Steel?
going from the previous Superman movie, I thought it was awesome.
Okay.
The one with Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor.
Right.
I can't remember what that one was called. Was it just Superman?
Superman Returns.
Returns. Okay. Yeah, I didn't like Superman Returns too much.
Okay.
But I liked Man of Steel much better.
Cool.
So, but I mean, I wouldn't say it's a great movie, but I thought it was, a better return than the ironically named Superman Returns.
Right. Yeah, that was, I liked Man of Steel a lot, really, and I never really understood why it's really, I don't know if I would say 50-50 on whether people like it or don't like it, but it's probably fairly close to that from people I hear, that did or didn't like Man of Steel, but I really dug it. So
yeah, I mean, it wasn't. I didn't think it was that bad.
No,
and I don't know what. Well, let me see here. It looks like it's a 7.2 out of 10 on IMDb.
Okay, so
that tells me it's pretty decent.
Yeah, okay, that's higher than I would have guessed just based on the internet. The way the internet talks about Man of Steel and.
Well, you're always going to have passionate people about big characters like that, so... Yeah. I'm checking Rotten Tomatoes right now for Man of Steel. What's your guess?
Let's see, they do a rating out of 100, right?
It's 100%, yeah. It's critics rating versus audience and percentages.
I'm going to say it's a 75.
For audience or critics?
Oh, I'll go audience.
Pretty close, 76%.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is it for critics?
56%.
Okay.
So that's probably where you're hearing the hate. It's from the critics.
Yeah, because it seems like all the reviews, they talked about the death of Jonathan Kent and, and Kevin Costner's character not being well defined or just very conflicting, and then obviously the end of it, the snapping Zod's neck, But
I dug it.
I did too. I got it. Like I understood why he had to do what he did, and
it beats the alternative, which is putting him into a glass pane and watching him fly away into space or whatever the hell that was.
Yeah, it's funny. I was having this similar conversation today on Facebook with a friend of ours, and just about that scene was part of what he didn't like about Man of Steel, and like I was saying that for me, one of my earliest memories of Superman or ever seeing Superman was one of those old George Reeve Superman episodes, and the end of the episode, Superman took these two crooks, I think it was a man and a woman, they were both criminals. He flew them up to the top of some mountain. I don't know if it was Everest, but it was a mountaintop, very high up, and he just leaves them at the top of this mountain and flies away, and I think he says, something about, you're on your own, basically, and then after he flies away, they stumble and fall to their deaths. And so for me, it's not that weird of seeing a Superman that kills and then you go from that to the original Superman movie.
That's pretty cold.
Yeah. You go from that to then I see the original Superman movie, and at the end of Superman 2, Zod is without power, and Superman drops him and his muscle-bound buddy Non down a bottomless pit. So, and that's the non-powered versions. He could have taken them to jail. So, for me, the whole Superman doesn't kill.
I think that's what I kind of liked about it. He was picking on somebody his own side.
Right.
As far as I
think it was where we're going to end it this episode, folks. Our connection is starting to degrade, so we're going to wrap this one up.
Well, thanks for joining us. This is Patrick. We're going to end it a little early as we've run into tech.
And that, citizens, is where we're going to end this episode due to some audio technical difficulties. On Facebook and Twitter, we are Real Comic Heroes. So for Patrick, this is Travis. Thanks for listening.